the gold lane, you actually counter the hero, but you don't counter the player. So you can still play from the back line, you can still be safe. Yeah, you're losing some gold XP, but you're coming back. And Irithel needs some time. Yes, Farsha gives you that time. Fredrin can give you that time. But still, we remember what happened with Kelra versus Joy.
Honestly, good ban here, banning out the Jushin, making it so that Onyx Philippines, they can get that tempo. Because I kind of feel like this is Onyx Philippines style. By controlling the game the first 3 minutes and then expand, don't stop.
Yeah, and again, that Jushin definitely answers the lack of CC. We were saying Onyx PH does not have the reliable crowd control. The CC provides that in spades. You spend 2 seconds too long underneath her beacons and suddenly you're knee-deep in Onyx PH's lineup. What are they picking red for? Again, still no mid laner and still no jungler, still no roamer for the super fam.
Let's go, Badang. What do you think about it?
Badang is good.
Badang or Cho.
Yeah.
Or Gatot. Gatot's good too, especially against the Parsa.
Yep, and there you go. You pick up the Gatot here. So, Onyx Philippines, it does look like they already have a lot of answers for the problems that SRGOG has.
And to picks for SRGOG. So the priority for the gold lane, that's the most thing that interesting me. I would prefer to see the Beatrix. Actually, I like the composition. I like it with Farsha, I like it with Kalea, I like it with Fredrin. And for the explain, I would like to prefer CC still. I like this pick.
Yep, still a lot available. Even the glue is available if SRGOG wants to go that route, because that does seem like one of Cram's comfort as well. Still a lot of picks for SRGOG, especially on the EXP.
Scary if you glue though, because the Faramis is still open.
That's true. So they pick up the CC instead. So will this be the Beatrix or the Irithel? It looks like they go for a Bruno. Not in my bingo books for this one.
Yeah, no, because the Beatrix was way too spelled out. So was the Irithel, because again, SRG knows that the Irithel just suddenly dies to the Granger and the Joy. So they go Bruno. It's a almost forgotten hero.
It's most, it's more safe pick, but I don't like it. I understand that on lane it's harder for you to play as Beatrix, yes, but overall, if you go to the mid lane, it's much more profitable.
I like that both teams, they're kind of like saying each other, let's play tempo. Let's see who has their foot on the gas first and who can accelerate without the brakes. So now, Onyx Philippines, final pick here for their mid laner. A lot is still open. It looks like they're gonna pick up the Eve instead. So a lot of zoning here by both mid laners.
So far, 100% win rate on the Eve for the black and yellow. Onyx has also found success in this by putting it in the hands of San. So, you know what? Onyx PH, they got momentum. I like it. They got a kill box going for them.
I would like to say that I also like the Onyx PH draft more than SRGOG. Sorry, Bruno, I don't like you.
Thank you very much for our analyst for the breakdown of the draft. And right now, for game number 3, we're going to throw it over to Brigida and Mirko.
Thank you so much. A bit of opinions here and there in terms of which they prefer and not, but now only these two teams can get to decide which works best. They've equalized the series, and we're heading into a best of 3 to finally find out who's coming out of this. Welcome to game number 3 between Onyx PH and SRGOG Esports. That was a very fun draft to watch.
It was really fun, just, predicting the drafts as well, because it really just came down to what you know of these players, right? Like, what are their comfort picks? Onyx Philippines responded to the heavy assassin ban by banning out their own assassins, setting up for the Joy. It was amazing to watch a draft, and now we get to see a battle for match point. Whoever wins here, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to secure match point. A bit of safety in the single elimination bracket.
Yep. And they also bring back the Bruno, who again, in terms of like history and what we know of SRG, was also there during that time. And the Bruno was just popping off, especially back in M6, but you could say the same for Onyx PH, and they were even the first ones to bring out one of the most unorthodox ways to answer back against the Bruno, which was, if you guys would recall, the Layla, even back in M6, but now they're playing up against it again in this kind of situation where SRGOG are forced to bring out the utility junglers again, but this time around with the Farsa in the mid lane, we could potentially be expecting them to play this a bit more better. There could be a lot more space created since they have a bit more of burst damage coming in for the early stages of the game.
Ooh.
But looking at the emblems, yep, it seems pretty standard for majority of the heroes here, but wait.
That's good info. King Kong going to be able to go for the dive here. Stormy still saving the flicker. And Kong doesn't get the electrifying beat. Sky's walking up now over to Prince. We'll get the poke down. And yeah, nothing too crazy in the emblems. It does seem like for Onyx Philippines, they got what they wanted for, right? Like what they went for, sorry. Hayabusa ban, they really wanted the Joy. But even though we've been saying no utility, the Fredrin is a great counter to the Joy.
Yeah. Just a well-timed energy eruption. It's gonna make a huge difference for the team fight. Oh, but there's the Unbreakable and the Bravest Spider.
Pulled out the Bravest Spider. Still Sky's been in the retreat battle. Ow! Oh! Razor's Wrath getting the big pop over the curtain call, locking him down. Yum's still staying alive somehow as Kirk tries his best to deal damage. Now the Feathered Airstrike with a Flicker 2 doesn't actually land that additional movement speed for the Purify, helping Prince to get out.
Oh my goodness, that timings. Brusco, I'm surprised he survived for that long in that entire fight where he was just up front in the faces of the members of SRG OG, and just that constant enhanced basic attack kept him alive even though he should have died way back. And even that Bravest Fighter from Kirk and Super Prince in that positioning with the real world manipulation, just making sure everyone was right at the edge. So it's probably also why it took a bit more time from SRG OG to reach Super Prince, to make things a bit more difficult for him. And mind you, that Purify might come in a lot more sooner because he is once again on the pull yourself together. So that's how Super Prince potentially is planning to keep himself safe. Again and again, he can just rely on the Purify either to get out, to keep the stuns out from Stormy, from Yums, and that's one of the biggest answers again to the entire idea that SRG OG has in terms of their lineup.
Yeah, it's again, they have a ton of damage. Despite the utility jungle, we've gone through this already. They already have a CC. They have a Pharsa and a Bruno too here. I think it would have been a bit too risky for them to go for the Beatrix, even though, yeah, we were talking about the Beatrix possibility too, the instant burst down that we saw up against RRQ by SRG yesterday when the Kalea went for any Tsunami Slam, really, on anyone. Right now, Onyx Philippines really need to get space for King Kong. That's what they need to do in the neutral objective battles, right? Because we saw earlier when King Kong had to just brute force his way into the fight, he gets chain CC'd way too easily by the Fredrin, CC, Kalea, even the Pharsa.
And that's probably the idea too why Onyx PH decided to go for this draft, because in terms of team fights, that's a lot of space you can create with the AOG, with the real world manipulation, and of course just the Bravest Spider being casted every now and then by Kirk. Oh, but Super Prince, they find a way to access him.
Yeah, great damage now onto Brusco too. Popping Revitalize already. And it's not actually going to help Super Prince to get back to full.
No.
Yeah, they have to concede this one. That's free for Selangor Red Giants OG Esports. And hey, with that setup, there was absolutely no way Onyx Philippines could brute force the Turtle without losing members.
So that could be the best way to go for SRG OG. That was a perfect call prior an objective to heavily poke a member who is a crucial part in how the team fights are going to unfold. And they went for Super Prince, so they had to rely on a potential team fight without the real world manipulation if it went down to it. And so now, Onyx PH clearly in the back foot. They're the ones reacting to how SRG OG is being more decisive in terms of the rotation than Kelra can't even do much. They will have to let go of that turret.
Beautifully done by SRG. Oh, King Kong gets away. Luckily for King, there was no one there to really stop him from dashing with the current call. But yeah, Selangor Red Giants, especially with the Bruno, you really want to play the strong side over for Bruno. So the fact that they got 2 turtles, plus they were able to rotate down below, ending the laning phase ASAP, means that Kelra really can't abuse the Granger laning phase anymore.
Yeah.
Puts Bruno, Innocent, in a very good spot.
We've been talking about space, but Onyx PH, hopefully that space doesn't get limited to the team fights, because when they get shut down, then things are not looking too good for them anymore. SRG OG, clearly with the utility jungler, are making it work, unlike the first 2 games we've seen so far in this series. This is how you literally capitalize on the idea of a utility jungler, because you have a strong lane in the gold lane, you have a mid laner who could definitely help you in terms of creating that space, and better yet, even supplying the damage, which is why Onyx PH feel a bit more hesitant in terms of going in because Stormy and Yums, their combo's just too good. And now they're gonna go after King Kong. Ooh, energy eruption.
The timing on the F5 beats, flicker over. King Kong can take it low, still able to escape. Leaf Ignition proc gets him down. A big bonk over to the minion wave. Actually, that was just one minion. Rest in peace, minion.
That was, I think, 2? Or maybe, yeah, that they could leave the lane alone already, but now Purify already used by Super Prince still gets caught though!
Yeah, an early Purify from Prince gives Yums easy access to get Tsunami slamming.
Wait.
That was uncharacteristic for sure. Selangor Red Giants, they're capitalizing on every small mistake that Onyx Philippines make on the map, and now it's a free turret in the mid lane.
This doesn't feel too calm and collected. Wait, Kurt goes in alone?
Yeah, Chain CC it again. The curtain call. Oh my lord, so much damage. Even with the Revitalize, they go through it all. And Innocent is just balling his way to 2 kills for free for SRG.
You get it, right? There's Brusco, who is also coming in, so that's probably why he was a bit encouraged. Oh, but wait! Close call. Close call for King Kong, but he still gets to escape. And yeah, you would have thought that Kirk went in alone, but it wasn't entirely the case. There was Brusco too, but was it still the right decision to go in knowing that it was just the 2 of them? Because there wasn't any damage, and SRG had plenty of damage. I mean, look at this 2k gold lead.
Yeah.
Already in the hands of Innocent on the Bruno. So whoever Yums decides to go for, and that setup earlier onto Super Prince was just a bit too free, you know, but whoever he decides to go for from this point onwards, you could expect the damage to come through from Innocent, to come through from Stormy.
It's just too tough right now for Onyx Philippines, like Selangor Red Giants. 3 kills on Stormy. That's the only possible bounty that they can get. Again, he can just play far back. He has a flicker too, and mainly I think what makes them, the backline, so safe is the amazing front line that they didn't actually have in game number 2, right? Like game number 2, yes, they had Skies on a Baksha, but Onyx Philippines just got online so early. Now that SRG got 3 turtles, even just with that, without the gold lead, they should be in a proper spot to actually hold down Onyx Philippines' damage. But with the 6,000 gold lead, Onyx Philippines might have to just wait for, what, 15, 16 minutes of game time before they can actually shred down Skies.
There's no threat of burst damage just yet from Onyx PH. They're, as you said, literally waiting. And now you see SRG OG, they just bounced back in this series. They're showing us a performance that's not too far from what we've seen in the previous year when they took the championship in MSC 2024 for themselves. Now they're doing this to the reigning world champions. And if they're able to actually get match point, that puts them one step closer to getting a shot at defending that title. Now Onyx PH clearly have to find a way to work around this. That's a 4k goal lead, and Super Prince fortunate enough to work on that sidestep, but now he doesn't have the Purify.
No, he does not. Holy Shield in the mid lane, they be popped open again, and there's just no damage, not even to Kram, who isn't the main frontliner. Man's able to sustain. Prince is a level down on Stormy. The only advantage, if you can even call it that they got was, alright, Stormy used Flick, so a bit more vulnerable. But even then, he doesn't really need Flick. He's been able to utilize it to go and dive. That's a free turret down below. Innocent picking it up now. RWM and the Brave Spider as well. Kurt melts it down. King Kong on the back line with the AOG as well. Won't land. It's only onto Innocent, who's still able to dish out damage for free. Brusco falling. Innocent gets a double kill. 1 off from a hat trick.
The closest and probably the best target for King Kong in that situation was Stormy, because you said it there. What?
There's a hat trick, and they're gonna go for the end. 10 minutes in, Onyx Philippines have no way to react. They will be forced back in their